Svalava was about 10,000 people lived there. It was not a small town, but it was not also not big, and about 300 Jewish families.
The date is January 6, 1997. Survivor is Louis Wiesel. Interviewer Naomi Rappaport. The city is Queens, the state New York, country USA, language English. Do you remember Svalava? What did it look like?
I remember this when it still was a little town, and I remember it as a nice little town and also a backwards little town. It was the old time we had one road what was plastered with asphalt, and the most roads was muddy. The winter was hard to walk there. And for the other side, it was between hills and mountains and greens. And usually they thought of it as some kind of a resort city. We didn't have any guest for it, but in the surrounding, the villages was mostly for guests. They came there in the summertime. They was full of mineral waters. They even exported the water all over the country. So in this sense, it was very nice. But the town itself was, I would say, a poor town. Mostly was working people and poor. And there was there big factories, two big factories. It was a chemical factory and also a factory for wood. They produced lumbers and all other things. And that was the basic for the economical being from this time.
How large?
We're going to head out to Budapest.
You're giving us the itinerary?
What?
Giving us the itinerary?
Giving me an itinerary. Car looks pretty good. It's a Volkswagen Jetta. You got to see the food bag over here. We are prepared for every eventuality.
And this is a bright, beautiful...
For foods. Hey, Grand Flakes.
Well, we're obviously covering the important areas. And this is a bright, beautiful day in Vienna. Since you don't have any idea how cold it is, let me just tell you that Zvika regrets not bringing his gloves and winter coat. How do you feel about going back to Svalava?
I will know it after when I come back, that I can evaluate. I can evaluate my views, and I don't know what I feel at all.
Open the window. This is a cemetery. Looks like a Goyish cemetery. The Jews weren't buried there, were they?
Here is it. This street, Roji was living to the right side.
Open your window.
There's supposed to be a school at the left side.
Wrong station, yes. There was a bridge here? Where?
This is the house?
This was.
Yossi, wait until she's gone. Don't
Don't do it before.
Yossi, you got it in his
This is the view from the location of Abba's house. He thinks that the house was here and that these houses were rebuilt on top of it. What is it, Abba?
That was the
This was the what, Abba?
that's the well. That was it's covered now.
That's the well? That's the well. It's all covered up now. She's pointing out the various things that were taken apart here.
That's what my father planted, all this trees. That's the tree what's left.
Which one?
All of that.
All of these your father planted?
So here, this thing, he planted. He was sick. He had tuberculosis gehad. Ik heb gezegd, hier is al geweest. Ik heb het begrepen, dus zet.
Where was your house, Abba?
Zet is voor mij eigenlijk. Het is het duidelijk.
This is the house that was owned by my father's father. There was a couple of tenants in here, and this is really the original house. Now, over to this side is the house that the family lived in. However, it's been rebuilt and retouched, and the original house was probably grazed, although my father can't be sure of that. So this entire lot was owned by the Wiesel family here. And these, of course, are the trees that we just talked about. But she knows everybody? How long has she been here?
To play here, this was our playground.
Can we go inside the house?
What?
Can we go in the house? How about, you were saying the trees? How about the trees? You're saying the trees were not here originally on this mountain?
No.
Però na kладбище.
Ajno, oni lipeni, nije?
Nije.
Tuj?
Što Olja? Ja ne čuvam.
But this is the original street?
That's the original.
Šta ti budu?
This is the house that's been rebuilt from the front. These are people who live there now, and this is the tenant's house from the back. And this is our car that's taking us around with the driver.
You said something about your cup. This is a typical far village. The houses like they was, a little church, and here you see it. This has not a straw roof, but they have it in shingles, they call it. This is a wooden shingles.
There's a bridge over there with something.
Where do you have
Stone
it?
bridge.
That belongs to the castle.
So what else?
That is a typical village. The whole village is here complete. At the entrance, you see the fence here, the wooden fence. That's exactly like they used to be. There is an interesting other fence. It's done from pieces of not of wood, from branches. You see there, out here.
Yeah.
There's the branches is with nuts. That was also a
I see.
typical.
That's fence.
Yeah, you can zero it well. Yeah, you see the gate there. That was typical, like the peasant lived at this time.
I can actually take pictures in here.
Because you can't take a picture with that.
I hate to tell you, I can.
Я думала, она светлой будет, то развела ее только чуть-чуть одну. Она он такая получилась. Теперь я тут у меня... У меня тут...
I have to reach him.
Значит, эту, чтобы она попала.
It's the roof. Tap ceiling. Walking on top of this makeshift ladder.
This is the stove that Abba remembers. It's a different house. Kitchen. Used to bake bread and stuff. She's the caretaker. And outside. Walking Yossi, pointing to various sites. He remembers a lot of things about each house and what the people used to wear and do and so on. He's all over the place here.
Your bedroom.
The bedroom. This is the kitchen. Here they lived in one. The peasant had one room. He has everything here.
But they had their own house.
Things like this. And even the who milk, the goat used to be in there. But that was similar routine to kitchen. So this was a big kitchen. But not this system. They were sleeping here.
My name is Naomi Rappaport, N-A-O-M-I-R-A-P-P-A-P-O-R-T, and today is January the 6th, 1997. I am conducting an interview with Rachel Wiesel, maiden name Braverman, in Queens, New York,
The street
USA.
itself on which you lived, was it a paved street?
Yes.
And did you have electricity in your house?
Yes.
Water?
Yes. No water. We had a pump in the back in the courtyard. And hoif, they called it in hoif.
Yeah. The courtyard was for everybody, or
No, only for us.
just for you? So
Yes.
it was sort of an outhouse?
It was a house with this hoif. They called it a hoif.
Uh-huh.
And so we had some neighbors that they came for water too.
Was it your own well?
Yes. Not a well, a pump.
A pump? And to where was it connected to? The city
It
water
was
or
in the ground.
in the ground?
To the ground. There was no connection.
How many people lived on your street?
How many people? Was at least 30 families.
On
Or
both
even more.
sides of the street?
Both sides of the street, yeah.
And
Jewish and not Jewish.
were they close together, the houses?
Yeah. Yeah, separated but close.
This is the path towards the cemetery. There's now a factory on the way. And this is going towards the cemetery. You can see the mountains in the background. Beautiful area. Very still. This hasn't changed.
Tumba la laika, tumba la la. Spiel balalaika, tumba la laika, spiel balalaika, tumba la la. Steht a Bucher in der Tracht, Tracht in Tracht, a ganze Nacht. Weimen zu nehmen, in it verschämen, weimen zu nehmen, in it verschämen. Tumba la laika, tumba la la. Spiel balalaika, tumba la laika, spiel balalaika, tumba la la. Mädel, Mädel, ich will bei dir fragen, wo's kann wachsen, wachsen und regen, wo's kann brennen, in nicht auf Herden, wo's kann bänken, weinen und tränen. Tumbala, 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 laika, tumbala, 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 la. Spiel balalaika, tumbala, laika, spiel balalaika, tumbala, la. Narischer Buchari, wo darfst du fragen? A Stein kann wachsen, wachsen und regen. Liebe kann brennen, innet auf Herren. A Herz kann bänken, weinen und tränen. Dumbala, 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 laika. Dumbala, 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 la. Spiel balalaika, tumbala, laika. Spiel balalaika, tumbala, la. Balalaika, tum, balalaika, tum, 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 balalaika, tum, balala, tum, balabala, tum, balabala, tum, balalaika, tum, balabala, tum, balala, spiel balalaika, tum, balalaika, spiel balalaika, tum, balala. Spiel Balalaika, Tumbalaika.